Welcome, everyone, to the heart of the North Georgia Mountains here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium on a golden Friday afternoon here in the Gold City of Dahlonega, Georgia. Lots of gold here. Game 3 of the 2025 Gold City Classic is about to be underway here in Dahlonega. It's the number 3 team in the nation, North Georgia Nighthawks, taking on Emory and Henry in a battle of two undefeated teams here in this weekend's play at the Hill. So glad to have you all back with us here on the Nighthawk Sports Network alongside the rest of the NSN team here in Dahlonega. Robert D. Clementi on hand for you today. Both of these teams coming away with a win earlier against Emmanuel. Emory and Henry got the day started with a 5-0 shutout win over Emmanuel in Game 1 of the Gold City Classic. And then about 30 minutes ago, North Georgia concluded their game in an 8-0 shutout over Emmanuel in 6 innings to close that game out. So two teams that are 1-0 this weekend, looking to put a loss in the column for either or. Emory and Henry looking for a big upset tonight over the top 3 team in the country in North Georgia. And the Nighthawks looking to remain stellar at home as they normally do here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. Should be a fun one here in Dahlonega. Again, glad to have you all with us today for a sunny Friday afternoon. Don't think that that's going to hold up for the rest of this weekend. We are expected to have quite a bit of rain coming up tomorrow and Sunday. So a lot of games being squeezed into today. A couple games over there at Bob Stein Stadium for North Georgia baseball team against St. Leo. And this weekend's festivities moved up a notch. So it's going to be the center fielder for the Wasps leading off, Mackenzie Williams, a senior out of St. Augustine, Florida, and Bartram Trail High School. It's going to get this game going here for Emory and Henry in just a moment. As we are ready to get underway here in Dahlonega, and the first pitch is going to be a strike from Angelina Badalament, getting the start in the circle. Here for the Nighthawks. This one's going to be outside for a ball. We saw Badalament in that last game that the Nighthawks had, one of those utility do-it-all players. Sends in the 1-1 pitch outside for ball 2. Badalament last weekend pitched 12.3 innings with 12 strikeouts. She had 10 coming into last weekend, and she matched that in just a couple games of play. And this is going to be swung on and missed for a strike. Count gets evened up at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch from Badalament, swung on and missed for strike 3. Angelina Badalament opens up this game with a strikeout on the leadoff batter, Williams. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Danielle King. Senior out of Spencer, Virginia. Transferred over from Patrick and Henry Community College. Takes one outside from Badalament. Badalament's .86 ERA, second best in the Peach Belt Conference this season. Also has the 4th most strikeouts in the PBC with 22. And she has since added to those totals today. finds herself down in the count against the right fielder, King. The 2-0. This one's going to be upstairs for ball 3. Badalaman following up a couple of really stellar pitching performances in the last game, most notably Chloe Poss finishing the day with just 1 hit and 6 strikeouts allowed. This one's down the middle from Badalaman as she gets back in the count, 3-1. Wops 5-3 to open up the 2025 season. This one's going to be hit over to short. Riley Moody makes the throw to Brumby at first for out number 2. Wasps were 4-3 coming into the weekend. Picked up that win, like we mentioned, in the opener against Emmanuel. Had a pair of wins against Converse and Barton in the final 2 games of the Big Region preseason invitational prior to coming to Dahlonega. This one is going to be popped up into foul territory and just dropped over there. A heck of an effort by Journey Roberts to get all the way back to the North Georgia dugout to try to make the play. So the count's going to be 0-1. For the second baseman, Street, Abigail Street, junior out of Glade Spring, Virginia. Takes one close for a ball. Like North Georgia and Emmanuel, Emory and Henry had a doubleheader postponed this past week due to the rain here in Georgia. Wasps were supposed to play on the road against North Greenville on Wednesday. It's almost all of those doubleheaders on Wednesday for a lot of teams located here in the Southeast were not able to be played. This one's going to be grounded between first and second. Easy throw for out number 3 as Jenna Miles makes the play. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. It'll be Sydney Reeves to lead off the bottom of the first when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. The sun is shining down for Game 3 of the Gold City Classic. Both of these teams 1-0 after picking up wins against Emmanuel. So it'll be Sydney Reeves to lead off the inning here for the Nighthawks, as she has been all season long. And the first pitch that she sees is going to be a strike from Destiny Good, getting the start here for Emory and Henry. This one's going to stay in the infield, and the throw to first gets there on time for out number 1. And Emmanuel and Emory and Henry have done a good job this weekend of taking care of the leadoff batter. Sydney Reeves has the hottest bat on this North Georgia team, but hasn't been able to quite get it going this weekend. That's going to bring Jenna Miles up to bat as she takes a ball there. Miles will take ball 2 outside. Jenna, a highly accoladed freshman out of Jeff Davis High School, about 4.5 hours south of here. Takes the 2-0 outside for ball 3. Miles in that last game against Emmanuel went 1 for 3 at the plate, had a pair of RBIs and a run as well. Takes strike 1 from Good. And the 3-1 pitch. This one's off the glove of the catcher, so it's going to be ball 4 and a runner on first here for North Georgia. Up comes the designated player, Natalie Ray.
Number 12, Natalie Ray.
Ray will take a ball here. She was absolutely sensational against Emmanuel about 30 minutes ago. Went 3 for 4 at the plate with an RBI. The only Nighthawk in that one with multiple hits, responsible for 3 of the 8 North Georgia hits in that win. She's going to take ball 2 upstairs. And the 2-0 right down the middle for strike 1. As Good takes one back. And the 2-1 pitch to Ray. This one is going to be grounded into right field, and Natalie Ray is going to get 2 bases out of it. It's now her 4th hit today and her first here against Emory and Henry. So up comes the Peach Belt Conference Freshman of the Week, Carly Knowles. We mentioned in the last game that she played it against Emmanuel. Went 4 for 9 at the plate in her first game in front of the Nighthawk faithful. Currently tied with her teammate Carly Knowles for the most doubles in the Peach Belt Conference this year. Finds herself in an evened up count at 1-1. The 1-1 to Knowles. This one is going to be fouled out of play, so now a 1-2 count for the freshman. Knowles still looking for her first hit. Today went 0 for 4 against Emmanuel in the first game. Takes the pitch and grounds this one to third. Throw to first is on time for out number 3. So we stay scoreless here in this one. 0-0 headed to the second. One of these teams going to try to break through when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Today's broadcast of the Nighthawk Sports Network is brought to you by Bryan Properties, the leader in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor and a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. So as we head to inning number 2, this is going to be grounded to short. Moody throws to first to get a quick first out here on Emory and Henry. Badalaman delivers the pitch. This one is going to be inside for strike 1. The 0-1 from Badalaman. This one's going to be blasted into right, but it's going to be a foul ball. Now an 0-2 count for the first baseman, Liberty Johnson. Johnson, a freshman out of Arvonia, Virginia, and Buckingham County High School. The 0-2 down the middle for strike 3. Badalaman picks up another strikeout and gives us 2 quick outs here in the top of the second. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Rachel Hill. Junior infielder out of Standardsville, Virginia. Hill went 1 for 3 against Emmanuel earlier today. Had an RBI and a run scored to go along with it. She's now up in the count 2-0 against Badalaman, who delivers the pitch. This one's going to be grounded to third. Throw to Brumby at first, who makes the stretch out to make the grab for out number 3. We are still scoreless in this one as we head to the home half of the second. We'll see if the Nighthawks can get on the board when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Angelina Badalaman, who just picked up a strikeout in the top of the second inning, is going to lead things off here in the bottom of the second inning. As she takes a first pitch ball there. Talk about what Badalaman has done in the circle for the Nighthawks so far this season. What she does up to bat cannot be understated either. She's been one of the most consistent batters on this North Georgia team. Had a pair of hits and 3 RBIs and a home run last weekend in her limited time up to bat. Good eye there, takes ball 3. Would not expect to see her swing on this next pitch. Takes the 3-0 from good, low for ball 4. So 4 straight of those is going to put a runner on first as Caitlin Johnson makes her way up to bat. And what a season it's been so far for Caitlin Johnson. In her second year with the Nighthawks, her batting average this season is top 3 in the Peach Belt Conference. Last year, she primarily served as a pinch runner for the Nighthawks. We'd see her inserted in at first base, show off her speed a handful of times last season, but she's had a lot more opportunities up to bat this year. It's really paid off. Finds herself in an even 1-1 count. Takes the 1-1 outside for ball 2. That win over Emmanuel earlier today for the Nighthawks was the first game that Caitlin Johnson did not record a hit. Still able to get on base. She had a hit in every game this year leading up to this weekend. This one is going to be fouled. So Johnson will come back to have another crack at it here. Count does get evened up at 2-2. Good gets the signal, delivers the 2-2 pitch. Low for ball 3, and the count is going to fill up. That batting average, that's top 3 in the PBC for Johnson. A whopping .521 coming into this weekend. Johnson fouls this one out of play, hits a laser beam over to North Georgia's dugout. So she'll get another crack at it here in a full count. And another payoff pitch. This one is going to stay fair, and it does not look like Emory and Henry is going to be able to make a play, or they do, so they do put an out up on the board to get Badalaman out. But Johnson will make her way to first, swapping places with her teammate. So up comes the shortstop, Riley Moody. Moody was also 0 for 2 at the plate in that win over Emmanuel. Takes the 0-1, slams this into the infield, and no throw will be made as Riley Moody will be safe at first. Runners now on first and second, and a runner in scoring position here for the Nighthawks. That's going to bring up Mary Seal Brumby. And with a runner in scoring position, Brumby's probably one of the last people that Emory and Henry wants to see up to bat in this situation. Brumby went 1 for 2 at the plate. Reached base on both plate appearances. This one is hammered into left field, and it is fouled. But Brumby got all of that one. definitely going to keep Emory and Henry on their toes as she walks back into the batter's box in a 1-1 count. The 1-1 pitch to Brumby. This one will stay fair, and everybody on second and third at least will be safe. Brumby will be out at first. But the runners advance now a pair in scoring position here for the Nighthawks. 2 outs up on the board. Let's see if Tegan Laval Masonette can keep this 2-out rally alive here for North Georgia. Takes a strike. Laval had a big hit against West Florida last weekend, helping the Nighthawks spark a comeback victory against the Argos. Finds herself in a 1-1 count, takes the pitch, and takes a ball. Laval Masonette was a PBC Freshman of the Week last season in March. Started 22 of 40 games last year for the Nighthawks. Takes the 2-1 and takes another ball. Nighthawks threatening to juice the bases here with the top of the batting order, Sydney Reeves, who is due for a hit on deck. Laval Masonette takes the 3-1 and fouls this one back. Payoff pitch is going to be coming up here. And the hit that Laval Masonette had in the last game had a pair of RBIs attached to it. She hits one deep into right field, and it's going to be caught over there in right by King for out number 3. And so Emory and Henry keeps the Nighthawks off the board in the second. We head to the third as we step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, where Emory and Henry is up to bat. Both teams still looking to put the first runs up on the board. Still early here in this game. Emory and Henry yet to go through their entire batting order. Badalaman delivers a strike. And the 1-1 from Angelina outside for ball 2. Caitlin Sikirka up to bat here for Emory and Henry. She grounds this one over to Roberts, but it will be a foul ball, pushing the count to 2-2. So the DH will get another crack at it here. Fifth-year player out of El Cajon, California. And the 2-2 from Badalament. This one's going to be low to fill up the count. Angelina gets the signal, delivers the payoff pitch upstairs for ball 4. That's going to put a runner on first here as Badalament walks her first batter here in this one. That's going to bring up the left fielder, number 99, Grace Harper. Harper takes one outside. Harper, a senior out of Williamsonsburg, Virginia. A lot of veterans on this Wasps team. This one's going to be fouled. Emory and Henry coming over from the South Atlantic Conference. Actually, a new member to Division II athletics. Wasps made the move over after competing in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference in the Division III. Change was made before the start of the 2024-2025 seasons. The 2-1 from Badalament. This one's fouled to even up the count. And for this being their first year at the Division II level, the softball team off to a pretty great start at 5-3. Badalament delivers the 2-2 upstairs, and that gets away as the runner will advance to second now. And the count will run full. So we're going to have a quick meeting in the circle here with the Nighthawks. Again, repping their black pinstripe jerseys. Very clean combination. Emory and Henry with the all-whites today. Just a quick meeting in the circle with this Nighthawks infield and Badalament. Just get her back on the right track here. We are ready again for some softball. The payoff pitch. This one is going to be fouled. So another one of those coming up. And another payoff pitch from Badalament. That's now back-to-back walked batters here for Angelina to put runners on first and second. Still no outs up on the board here for Emory and Henry. That's going to bring up double zeros. Ashlyn Rayshawn, a junior out of Greenville, Tennessee, and Greenville High School. Takes another ball there from Badalament. Looks like we're going to have a stoppage of time as Coach Medina makes her way out to the circle. And it looks like this could potentially be the end of the afternoon. It doesn't look like it's going to be for Angelina. I got some players warming up in the bullpen for North Georgia. But Badalament has been one of the most stellar pitchers in the Peach Belt Conference this season. And if North Georgia does have to play tomorrow, barring the weather, definitely want to keep as many fresh arms as possible. And so Badalaman will stay in the circle. Delivers the 1-0 pitch. This is going to be bunted. Throw to first. Gets there on time. Nice heads-up play from Badalaman, but it's going to advance runners to second and third. Does give us our first out here in this inning. So the batting order flips over back to Williams. As she takes ball one. Williams was struck out, one of two strikeouts for Badalaman, who delivers the 1-1. Now a 2-0 count and a pair of runners in scoring position as Emory and Henry tries to take the first lead tonight against the Nighthawks. Badalaman delivers the 2-0. This one's fouled out of play, so Badalaman steals one back to break into the count 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch and another foul ball. Badalaman is fired up after that one to even this count back up at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch just upstairs for ball three. But Badalaman has worked her way into this full count, delivers the payoff pitch, and a swing and a miss. Badalaman fired up as she picks up her third strikeout tonight, and a big one there to put two outs up on the board. So that's going to bring the right fielder King back up to bat. Grounded out on her first plate appearance today. Takes one high. King, a 2025 preseason All-SAC first team selection as a utility player. As Badalaman sneaks one inside for strike one. King also a 2024 All-SAC second team selection. Led the team in doubles last year with 10. Badalaman delivers the pitch and delivers one outside. Angelina gets the signal, delivers the 2-1. Down the middle for strike two. So even though Angelina's been getting down in a few of these counts, she has been working her way back. Deuces are running wild. The 2-2. This is going to be grounded to Journey Roberts. Throws to Brumby at first to get the out. So North Georgia leaves runners stranded in scoring position on second and third as we head to the bottom of the third. We'll see if North Georgia can get on the board when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and a still tied ball game at 0-0 between North Georgia and Emory and Henry. As the Nighthawks look to get on the board first. As the sun starts to set here in Dahlonega, temperature starting to drop a bit, sub 50 degrees, now 49 here in the Gold City. Sydney Reeves, the leadoff batter for the Nighthawks, looking for her first hit of the weekend, grounded out on her first plate appearance against Good, who's still in the circle here for the Wasps. Takes a strike. And the 0-1 to Reeves, as this one is going to be grounded and stays in the infield. Throw to first. Gets there on time. A heads-up play there from Street to make the flip to Johnson to get the out. And Sydney Reeves is one of the most difficult players to keep off of the bases. And Emory and Henry has done a good job of doing that today. This one's going to be hit to second. Throw to first gets there on time. 2 quick outs now up on the board. So we'll see if the DH, Natalie Ray, can keep this inning moving along for North Georgia. She does take a strike there from Good. Natalie Ray grounds this into right. Need throw to first, gets there well on time. So a quick 3 up and 3 down here by the Wasps. Lead the Nighthawks off the scoreboard as we head to inning number 4. Still knotted at 0-0 here at the Hill. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Today's 4th inning is presented by Fernie, a proud sponsor of UNG Athletics, helping you furnish your workspace with office furniture, graphics, wall solutions, and more. Now into the 4th. This one is hit high up in the air, but fouled. So it's going to be a 0-1 count coming out the gates here in the top of the 4th. Second baseman Street, Abigail Street. The 0-1 from Badalament, right down Main Street for strike 2. And the 0-2 from Badalament. This one is going to be fouled, so we'll stay right where we are at an 0-2 count. Badalament has walked a pair of batters in this game, struck out 3. Was cooking early here in this one, has still left the Wasps off the board. The 0-2, this one is hit deep into right, back at the wall. The catch is going to be made by Laval Masonette. A sensational play in right by Tegan puts our first out up on the board here in the 4th. That's going to bring Tofano back up to bat. Takes a ball there from Badalament. Badalament now with 40-plus pitches here in this ball game. Down in the count 2-0. Delivers the 2-0. Cuts it just a bit close for ball 3. Wasps are doing their best to try to get on the board here. Trying to work Badalament in these counts. Make her earn it, and she does for a strike. Emory and Henry, the only college in the United States with a wasp as its mascot. Not to be confused with a bee or a hornet or the Yellow Jackets up there in Atlanta. This is going to be grounded to Moody, who throws to Brumby at first for out 2. A lot of chemistry there between Brumby and Moody. Moody was the starting shortstop all season long last year for the Nighthawks, and Brumby came in a big spot over there at first, having to fill in for Sophie Mooney, one of the best players in Division II softball. She went down with a couple of hamstring injuries, and so it was Brumby in the starting lineup for about 75% of the season. And she came through in a couple of really big ways for the Nighthawks. This is hit well into right field, foul territory, and it's going to be out of play. Laval Masonette tried to track it down. Count's going to be evened up at 1-1. Talking about the nickname for Emory and Henry, the Wasps. They've gone through a handful of nicknames in their university's history, but the Wasps have stuck around for over 100 years. That nickname coming from a football game in 1921 where newspaper writers in Knoxville said that the defense looked like wasps out there for Emory and Henry. And the Nighthawks defense doing some work there as they pick up out number 3 as we head to the home half of the 4th. Still scoreless 0-0 here in Game 3 between North Georgia and Emory and Henry. We'll step aside for another commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
National Championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia. Leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nighthawk Sports Network. Still a 0-0 ball game between North Georgia and Emory and Henry in the third game of the Gold City Classic here in Dahlonega. This one is hit well into left end. This is going to be two bases from Carly Knowles, who right out the gates, first pitch that she sees this inning, gets a double. And that is why she is one of the leaders in the Peach Belt Conference in doubles this season. Gets a big one there, and an early runner is in scoring position now for the Nighthawks. Angelina Badalaman now up to bat. Was walked on her first plate appearance. She grounds this one over to second, and the Nighthawks are going to be stopped in their tracks at third as Miles Wisely comes back. Or Carly Knowles that was, and so it's going to put runners now on first and third here for the Nighthawks. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, Caitlin Johnson, who has been the epitome of consistency this season. Has a hit in her first at-bat. Takes ball one. Johnson leading the team with a .521 batting average, 11 hits and 21 at-bats coming into the weekend. As she hits this one fouled back towards the net, so it's going to be a 1-1 count. Johnson also top 3 in the Peach Belt Conference in on-base percentage this season. Johnson takes the 1-1. Low for ball 2. Runners on the corners here for North Georgia. Johnson takes the 2-1 pitch, slams one into left, but it's going to be fouled. So we'll have a count that's all evened up at 2-2. Johnson only had 30 at-bats in 2024. She will well surpass that halfway through this month. Johnson takes the 2-2, and she's going to take strike 3 with a swing of the bat. A big strikeout there by Emory and Henry, and good for the first in this inning. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Riley Moody. We'll try to score some runs here for North Georgia with one in scoring position. Knowles over there at third. And the throw to second is not on time. Now a in scoring position for the Nighthawks. That was a strike called to Moody, so it will be an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 to Riley. This one's going to be low near the shins for ball 1. The shortstop had a hit on her first at-bat today. Takes the 1-1, fouls this one out of the hill, so it's going to be a 1-2 count now for Riley. And the 1-2, this one's hit deep into center field, and it's going to be caught back at second for out number 2. Riley had a good swing of the bat on that one, just couldn't get it over the head of Street. So let's see if this 2-out rally is started here by Mary Seal Brumby. This is going to be a strike to Mary Seal. We mentioned her increased role last season. Had over 100 at-bats, batted .347, and a lot of big plays. Slams one into left, but it's going to be fouled. Now down in the count 0-2. Noel's been over there at third for a while. Badalaman over there at second. Brumby takes one in the dirt for ball 1. A little windy out here now as the sun is setting at the hill. Brumby takes the 1-2 and another one outside for ball 2. Deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2 runners on for the Nighthawks. Brumby sees the 2-2, grounds one to first, and the out will be made as the Nighthawks could not break through in the 4th. Neither could Emory and Henry as we are headed to the latter stages of this game, still tied at 0-0. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Still tied. Donuts on the board between North Georgia and Emory and Henry. In the final game today, the first day of the Gold City Classic here in Dahlonega. We've already had a couple of really good games this weekend. Emory and Henry came away with a 5-0 win over Emmanuel to start the afternoon out. North Georgia followed that up with a win over Emmanuel themselves. An 8-0 run rule victory in just 6 innings for North Georgia. Both teams struggling here in this one to find any sort of momentum on the base pads. Nighthawks do have 5 hits in this game, just haven't had any runs to show for it. So the shortstop, Rachel Hill, will lead off this inning here for the Wasps. Takes the pitch, grounds this into second, and that gets away from a couple of Nighthawks there, and so Emory and Henry puts an early runner on first. As the DH will follow that up. This one's hit well into right, and it's going to be fouled. Emory and Henry definitely keeping North Georgia on their toes here in this inning. Badalaman delivers the 0-1 upstairs. Sakurka was walked on our first plate appearance. Takes the 1-1, grounds this to Roberts, who throws to second to get the lead-out runner out. So a heads-up play there by Roberts to put the first out up on the board and keep the runner at first. They just swap places for Emory and Henry. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Harper. Was struck out by Badalaman on her first at-bat. Takes a ball there. Takes another one low for ball 2. Another one that's going to be low for ball 3. Wasps making the 270-mile trip to Dahlonega from Emory, Virginia. Badalaman going to try to steal one back, and she does with a strike. And the 3-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss. And Badalaman has worked her way back in the count with a payoff pitch coming up. And the payoff pitch. This one's going to be fouled. So Harper will get another crack at it here. And another payoff pitch coming from Badalaman, just outside for ball 4. Nighthawk faithful not too pleased with that called ball 4, and so that's going to put runners now on first and second for the Wasps. Looks like they're going to have a pinch runner come on as well. It's going to be number 25, Emma Anderson, junior infielder from King William, Virginia, and King William High School. So now they pair of runners on. The 9-hole batter, Rashawn, is up to bat. Ashlyn Rashawn. Badalaman delivers the pitch, and this is going to be a foul ball. We saw this, a very similar situation in the Mizuno Invitational, where Badalaman played a lot on day 1 and not much on day 2. This is going to get away as this is a high pitch from Badalaman, way outside of the zone. Runners will advance for Emory and Henry. Count will even up at 1-1. Now both runners in scoring position for the Wasps. And the 1-1 and another foul ball. And the Nighthawks have let a handful of runners get in scoring position against the Wasps, but they've been able to leave runners stranded. They've got a little bit more work to do here in the 5th, with just 1 out up on the board. The 1-2 from Badalaman, as this one is going to go right to the glove of Journey Roberts as she makes the grab for out number 2 and keeps the runners on second and third. Batting order flips over for Emory and Henry. Mackenzie Williams back up to bat. She fouls this one almost to Bob Stein Stadium. Still looking for her first hit here against North Georgia. Badalaman has gotten the best of her in her last 2 plate appearances, struck out twice. The 0-1. That was a good-looking pitch there from Badalaman, but it's going to be a ball. And the 1-1, this one is hit into left, and it will drop fair. The Wasps take the lead here against North Georgia in the top of the 5th. They put a run up on the board. This is now a 2-0 lead here for Emory and Henry. So now we're going to have a meeting in the circle with the Nighthawks. They had to come back last weekend after going down against West Florida, so we know they are capable of clawing their way back into games. They've got a little bit of work to do here. That's going to bring up the right fielder, King. Was grounded out on her first 2 plate appearances today. Williams was able to steer the ship in the right direction. Can King do the same? But she fouls this one. So it's going to be an 0-1 count. Team leader in doubles last season. Takes one high for ball 1. And the 1-1, this one's hit high and deep into right center field, and it is going to drop at the wall. And so another run is going to be put up on the board here for Emory and Henry. A double from King. The leader on this team in that stat last year records another one. And it's a 3-0 lead now for Emory and Henry. This 2-out rally continues, and this looks like it's going to be the end of the evening here for Angelina Badalaman, as the Nighthawks and assistant coach Aaliyah Medina make a substitution in the circle. We'll have that sub when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. The new pitcher in the circle here for the Nighthawks is number 13, Gracie West, who we saw come in last game for the Nighthawks. And her first pitch here against Emory and Henry is going to be a strike. She came in to close out the game for Chloe Poss. And that win over Emmanuel. This one is hit well into right, but it's going to be caught for out number 3, but not before Emory and Henry puts up a trio of runs here in the 5th. Nighthawks have work to do when we come back in the home half of the inning. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back with you here in Dahlonega for the bottom of the 5th inning. And Emory and Henry looking for an upset here over the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia. They have a 3-0 lead as we head into the bottom of the 5th. And with tomorrow's games up in the air, both of these teams really putting everything on display today. It's going to be the 9-hole hitter, Tegan Laval Masonette, to lead things off here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 5th. She's going to take a strike there from Good. Good has let the Nighthawks get their hits. They just haven't had the runs to follow that up. She's walked a pair of batters, does have a strikeout. This is going to take a bounce into center field. Laval Masonette gets to first, and an early runner is on the board here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 5th inning. Batting order flips over to Sydney Reeves, who is due for a hit tonight. She's 0 for 2, grounded out twice here against the Wasps. She hits one high and deep into left field, and it's going to be caught for out number 1. So another short-lived plate appearance for the former Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week. Still got Laval Masonette on first. We'll see what Jenna Miles can do now up to bat. Looks like she has a piece of equipment malfunction here. Good sportsmanship showed there by Rashawn to help out with the situation, and we are ready to play yet again. This one's going to be fouled back to North Georgia's dugout. Miles has grounded out and been walked by Good on our first 2 plate appearances tonight. The 0-1 pitch inside for strike 2. And the 0-2 pitch outside for ball 1. And the same thing applies to Emory and Henry as they try to go to the distance with Good, potentially having to play more games tomorrow. Want to keep as fresh arms as possible in the bullpen. And the 2-2 high for ball 3. Miles has been able to work her way all the way back from down 0-2 into this count. And the payoff pitch. This one's going to be fouled into North Georgia's bullpen. So we will stay put at a 3-2 count. And another payoff pitch. This one's going to be grounded up the middle, and the throw to first does not get there on time, but the tag will be made at second to get the leadoff runner out as Laval Masonette makes her way back into the dugout. Puts another out up on the board, and a runner will remain on first here for North Georgia. Looks like the athletic training staff is out there to check on some of the Wasps. I'm not sure if it's Johnson or Street out there. But North Georgia and their trainer, Riley Shimon, making their way out there to check and see what the situation is between first and second. As Natalie Ray awaits her first pitch still. Ray was just absolutely phenomenal in the first game that she played in today. Was 3 for 4 at the plate. And now that she's finally back and healthy, she is, I think, living up to some very, very highly anticipated expectations. So we are ready to play softball. Ray up in the count, 1-0. Takes the 1-0 pitch, grounds this one in between first and second. Easy throw to first for out number 3. The Nighthawks unable to get on the board in the home half of the 5th. We're headed to the top of the 6th. We'll see if the Wasps can extend their 3-0 lead when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Fans, North Georgia has a brand new look, and now you can too, thanks to the all-new Nighthawk shop. Visit the UNG bookstore today to get the latest NG branded apparel, souvenir, gears, and more. This pitch is going to be upstairs from Gracie West for a ball to open up the top of the 6th. And another one outside for ball 2. West coming in relief for Angelina Badalaman as the Nighthawks swap a freshman in for a veteran. Counts now 2-1. Gracie West, the freshman out of Commerce, Georgia, was the 2022-2023 Pitcher of the Year during her junior season at Commerce High School. Delivers the 2-1. Almost sneaks its way back inside the zone, but it's going to be outside for ball 3. West also an all-region member in high school. Delivers the pitch and delivers ball 4. In the last handful of innings, we've seen both North Georgia and Emory and Henry get a runner on early. And Emory and Henry puts one on here in first. Brings the first baseman, Liberty Johnson, up to bat. Was struck out and grounded out against the Nighthawks today. And she takes a strike to go down in the count quickly, 0-2. Both of these teams had very dominating games early on in the season. Last weekend we saw North Georgia come away with a 23-1 victory over Lake Erie, the most runs that they put up in a game since 2014. This one's hit well into left, and it will drop in front of Johnson. That's now back-to-back runners getting on base here for Emory and Henry. Looks like we're going to have a time here called by head coach Jake Cockerim as he makes a substitution with a pinch runner now on second. Carson Simpson, sophomore out of Salisbury, North Carolina, and West Ronan High School. Head coach Jake Cockerim, in his third season with the Wasps, has coached a number of all-league players. Spent 12 of the last 13 years prior to Emory at King University. Saw a lot of success there. A former Conference Carolinas Coach of the Year. The pitch from Gracie, just outside for a ball. The shortstop, Rachel Hill, up to bat, is 1 for 2 today. Grounded out on her other plate appearance. Big swing and a miss there for strike 1. The Nighthawks and Badalaman were able to keep Emory and Henry out of the hits and runs column early. Wasn't until that top of the 5th where 3 runs got put up on the board. And this is another swing and a miss for strike 2. Wasps were also hitless. They put up 4 in this game, courtesy of Williams, King, Johnson, and Hill, who's up to bat right now, but she will be headed back to the dugout after strike 3 from Gracie West. So the first out is now up on the board, and assistant coach Medina will make her way back into the circle to have a chat here with the freshman. This is a big spot here to try to get out of this inning. Keep this really anybody's ball game heading into the bottom of the 6th. That stays at 3-0. And the 2-2 is going to be low for ball 3. So we have the incorrect count. It is a full count for Hill. And here comes the payoff pitch. This one's hit well into left, and it's going to drop. And Emory and Henry is going to take a 4-0, make that 5-0 lead over the Nighthawks. 5 runs over the last 2 innings here from Emory and Henry. And they smell blood in this one here against North Georgia. And assistant coach Aaliyah Medina will make her way back into the circle, and this is going to be the end of the evening for the freshman Gracie West as the Nighthawks move on to their 3rd pitcher of the game here in this matchup. We'll have that substitution when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing: Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and the new pitcher in the circle for the Nighthawks, the redshirt sophomore out of Social Circle, Georgia, Caroline Connor. Now serving as the 3rd pitcher in this game for the Nighthawks. We'll see if she can be there against this Wasps team that has been red hot these last 2 innings up to bat. Her first pitch is going to be low for a ball. Connor in her first season with the Nighthawks after transferring over from Division I College of Charleston. She delivers ball 2. She had a phenomenal freshman season. CAA Rookie of the Year, had over 100 strikeouts, 3 shutouts, and a 2.95 ERA. Delivers ball 2. This one's hit into left field, but it's going to be fouled into the bullpen to push the count to 2-1. She was on pace to have another incredible sophomore season. Had an injury that kept her out most of the year. Now she finds herself in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains here in Dahlonega. Those who remember, she combined for a no-hitter shutout win with Angelina Badalaman, who we saw earlier in this game. Did that over Lake Erie last weekend. This one's going to be low for ball 4, and so the first matchup for Caroline Connor is going to be a walked batter. Now runners are going to be on first and second. For the Wasps. Connor with a 2.17 ERA this year. This is going to be a fouled bunt attempt. And it's the left fielder Harper up to bat right now for Emory and Henry. Takes the 0-1 and fouls another ball out of play to make it an 0-2 count. This one outside for ball one. The last inning we talked about North Georgia's dominant performance over Lake Erie this past weekend, winning 23-1. Wasps had a big win of their own in the season opener here for this 2025 season. This will be ball two from Connor. They took down Lees McRae 31-1 in 5 innings. 32 runs tied the school record for the most in a game. That 31-run win was the largest in school history for the Wasps. So when you look at the stats online for both of these teams, some of their runs inflated a bit from their two dominant performances. We are still in the early stages here of this 2025 season. But to have one of those already underneath your belt, to put up 20-plus runs, and in Emory and Henry's case, 30-plus runs, it's great to carry that momentum into the rest of the season. This one's going to be high for ball four. And the bases are juiced for the first time tonight. And Emory and Henry threatening to blow this door wide open. This one's going to be inside for strike one. No outs for Emory and Henry. The 0-1 is going to turn into a 1-1 count. Sun is almost set here in Dahlonega at 6:21 p.m. Lights are on here at the Hill. This is going to cut it close for ball two. And the 2-1 from Caroline. Again outside for ball three. Another one of those would put another run up on the board here for Emory and Henry. And the 3-1 pitch cuts it close for ball four. And so a runner will come home for the Wasps, extending their lead to 6-0 here in Dahlonega. Bases also stay juiced. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Medina does here. And it looks like she's bringing out Angelina Badalaman yet again here for the Nighthawks. Connor's still there in the circle. Looks like she will transfer over to Angelina Badalaman. So the Nighthawks go back to their starting pitcher here tonight with their utility player. And Badalaman will get a couple warm-up pitches in here during the commercial break. We will step aside. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. interesting situation here for the Nighthawks as they find themselves back with Angelina Badalaman in the circle for the second time tonight. She started out this game for the Nighthawks in the circle. We'll see what she can do here as she delivers one inside of the zone for her first pitch back. Batting order flips over with Williams up to bat. She had a pair of RBIs on her last hit. That happens again. This game would be over. Badalaman finished up her first stint in the circle today, pitching 4.2 innings, allowing 3 runs and 3 hits. This one is going to be fouled to make the count 1-2. Badalaman walked 3 batters and struck out 3. Still no outs in the inning. The 1-2 pitch. This is going to again be fouled. So we'll stay right where we are at the 1-2 count. Got King on deck for Emory and Henry. And the 1-2 upstairs for ball 2. And again, Badalaman finds herself in the same situation as Connor, where she can't afford too many of those with the bases loaded. And the 2-2, this one is hit well into left, and it will drop. 1 run gets up on the board here for Emory and Henry. That's now 7 in the game, and they are 1 run away from a run rule victory over the #1 team in the country in North Georgia. Still no outs. The right fielder, Danielle King, up to bat. Takes one high for the ball, and the runner at home plate is going to be safe, and another runner at home plate is going to be out here at home plate, and that's now 8 runs up on the board here for Emory and Henry. It's a 1-0 count. We will continue to play on. So apologies for the miscommunication there on the run rule. This is going to be a strike. This counts 1-1, and an out is up on the board. Just 1 runner on. This one's hit high and deep into center field, and that's going to drop in center field. Another run comes across the board here for the Wasps. They are pouring it on with a 9-run lead over the Nighthawks. Looks like we will have another meeting in the circle. It's a 6-run, 6-inning here for Emory and Henry. Absolute chaos here late. And the 1-1 inside for a strike. It's not often that you see North Georgia in a situation like this. One of the top programs in all of Division II softball. This one's going to be just fouled off the bat of Street. Dinks this one with the bottom of her barrel. And the pitch. This one's going to be fouled. We have an 0-2 count up on the Jumbotron here at the Hill. That's what we have on the score bug. This is hit right to the glove of Journey Roberts for out 2 as she makes the nice looking snag there. Let's look at a runner on second in King. This is going to be grounded up the middle, and the throw to first to Brumby gets there on time for out number 3. Pouring it on here is Emory and Henry with 9 runs over the Nighthawks, a 6-run 6. North Georgia has their work cut out for them when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
It'll be Carly Knowles to lead off the inning here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 6th. She takes a first pitch ball there from Good, who is still in the circle for the Wasps. Has kept the Nighthawks quiet up to this point. Delivers another ball. Good eye by Knowles to go up in the count, 2-0. But Good and the Wasps have kept North Georgia at bay. This is going to be fouled. And it makes sense. The Wasps and their fielding has been so stellar in this game. They lead the sack in double plays this season with 5. Haven't made one tonight, but that number is actually the 6th most of any team in the entire country. The 2-1 to Carly is going to be way high for ball 3. Now 50-plus pitches in for Good. Has allowed 6 North Georgia hits in this one, but not a single run. The 3-1 and another foul ball. So the count will run full. And the payoff pitch. This one is caught. What a sensational catch there by Street. Makes the diving grab for the first out.
Not batting, number 37, Angelina Badalaman.
So now it's Angelina Badalaman up to bat. As she takes one outside. Badalaman's been very busy in this game for the Nighthawks. A lot of appearances at the plate and a lot of appearances in the circle. And she hits one well into right, but it's going to be fouled. So the count will move to 1-1. Dalman does have a hit against Emory and Henry today. She was walked on her other plate appearance. Badalaman takes the 1-1, smokes this into right, and it's going to drop over there in right field. Badalaman's going to get 2 bases out of it. She's going to go for 3, and she will get there standing up at almost an inside the park home run there for Badalaman. The Nighthawks, after today, have to be one of the leaders in the country in triples, in total triples this season.
The left fielder, Caitlin Johnson.
So a runner in scoring position. Now for the Nighthawks. Brings Mrs. Consistency up to bat here. Caitlin Johnson takes a ball. Has a hit in all but 1 game this season for the Nighthawks. That 1 game coming earlier today against Emmanuel. As she keeps this one fair, throw to first. Will not get there on time. Badalaman will stay put at third. But now a pair of runners on for the Nighthawks. So here comes Riley Moody, who has quickly become a veteran presence on this North Georgia team. He's going to try to start the comeback here with Badalaman in scoring position. She takes a fastball from good for strike 1. Moody responsible for one of the 8 Nighthawk hits in this game. Takes the 0-1, hits this into right, and it's going to be caught, and the throw back to first doesn't get there, but Badalaman will stay put at third still. But another great play made by Street for a big second out in this inning.
Now batting, number 22, Mary Seal Brumby.
Runners on the corners for Mary Seal Brumby. 2-2 up to bat with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Takes ball 1. We've seen Brumby be the catalyst for some North Georgia comebacks in years past. Takes the 1-0 pitch outside for ball 2. Got Laval Masonette on deck. The 2-0 to Brumby. Makes her earn it, and she does for a strike. Good puts one inside for a 2-1 count. And the 2-1 to Brumby, who hits this to right, and the out at first will be made as Emory and Henry keeps the Nighthawks off of the board here in the 6th. And that is going to be your ball game here from Dahlonega, as Emory and Henry with the huge upset win over the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia, winning this one 9-0 here in the final game of day 1 of the Gold City Classic. A huge day for the bats for Emory and Henry. Couple of multi-hit games coming from Williams and Hill. And this was just a sensational performance all around. The fielding specifically was great for Emory and Henry. They are now 2-0, the only undefeated team left here in the Gold City Classic, as they hand the Nighthawks just their 2nd loss of the season. Their 3rd loss of the season, their 2nd here at the Hill. Day 1 of the Gold City Classic comes to a close with weather permitting. Tomorrow will kick off with North Georgia taking on Emory and Henry at noon in a rematch. Emory and Henry taking on Emmanuel at 2, and the finale between North Georgia and Emmanuel at 4 p.m. Make sure to follow UNG Softball and Nighthawk Athletics on social media to stay up to date with any changes made to tomorrow's schedule. From Dahlonega, this is Robert DiClemente signing off. Again, your final score, Emory and Henry with the 9-0 win over North Georgia. Thanks so much for watching, and have a